podcast. I am the Boom, and my co-host,
I'm Wyla. Nice to meet you.
also known as Wild Wyla. Today
That's
we,
debatable.
yeah, a little debatable. Yeah, I don't know. From what I've seen, you've been kind of, you're a feisty, redheaded
Yeah,
Irish bastard.
Yeah. Go on anyway. Roll the intro.
But anyway, this is our second episode, and it's probably going to be my favorite one, just not to be biased, because the guy that we have coming on today is my hands down favorite role player that I've ever met in game. And it's good to have him here because a few weeks ago we did an RPCing competition that we briefly spoke about on the last podcast. And his video absolutely destroyed every other video that was put in the competition.
Yep.
And like I said before, I even wanted to vote for it, but I didn't because mine was in there. So with no further ado, we got the winner of the RPCing competition, Mr. ColterWall.
Woo!
Howdy, guys. I'm glad to be here.
Nice. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So how was because I've seen a bit of Father Josiah before. So how did you? Because I think I've asked you this before, but for the sake of the podcast, let me ask you this again: are you a preacher in real?
It took majority of it was research. Pretty much everything I did, and on top of that, I attended a private Christian school whenever I was real little. So that all kind of got cemented in there.
Nice. Because you
Oh,
seem
wow, so
pretty
you just
knowledgeable.
Yeah, I was gonna say. That, do you get that question a lot though? After you
Oh, yeah.
been around, yeah.
Yeah. I'll never forget the time you, me, and Borscht were in Tolga. And, man, that campfire story was amazing. I know that whole scene was kind of wrecked by some extenuating circumstances. I haven't actually told Boom about this yet. This was like the one time that me and Josiah hung out. And it was me, Borscht, and a guy called John Baker. Can't remember his gamer tag. Don't know who he is. If he's listening, you ruined this. But he handcuffed Borscht, and then the reset hit, and Borscht died. Like right in the middle of this just amazing campfire story that Josiah was going on. Totally, I could tell from memory. It was so passionate and so detailed and just so much fun, and it was just great. But it was wrecked by Borscht dying, or disappearing, I guess, in the middle of it all because of the reset. So that was an awful shame. But it was so impressive. It was really, really, really great. Like, it was just fantastic. I can't even remember much of what it was about. Maybe, I don't know, was that something that you practiced obviously ahead of time?
It was, yeah, one of my hobbies, and that's kind of thing that got me into role playing and video games to start off with, is I'm a big fan of writing, especially creative writing. And that story is one of the things, is one of the earlier short stories that I wrote.
Wow, it was original.
And it's one of the ones, yeah, it's one of the ones I'm most proud of.
It's great. It's fantastic. I mean, I'm not going to ask you to recount the whole thing entirely. Maybe later on in the podcast. Like, if there's some dead air, maybe you could just, take into it, like, you know what I mean? Just go off, man. We'll be fine. We'll just listen. But it was very, very impressive. And I was gutted that I missed the speech that the clip was a part of. I'm glad that I saw the clip. But that night was so hectic. I think I was in a queue of 24. I'm not even sure.
Lord, it was.
It was nuts.
Yeah, that
It
was
was nuts.
chaotic.
Yeah, but you were there was no better man for it. Like,
Yeah, nobody else could have rallied up. God, how many? Do you remember how many people were there? Had to be 20, right?
dude, there was
At least.
there was about 50.
I mean, the
Yeah.
server was full,
Yeah.
and I don't know how many cannibals were over at the castle. I don't know. I was looking back at the footage, and like, I know that there was at least like 5 people that were part of like a little security squad that was kind of helping me set it up, and then Lord knows how many people were out in the crowd.
I remember when we were trying to separate them after the speech, there was like 6 different groups of at least 5 or 6 or 7. You know what I mean? So that's like, that racks up quite quickly. And then again, I don't think there was that many people playing on the server who weren't there that night. It was just it was a vast amount of people. You couldn't hear yourself think.
Oh no.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Like, in a way it was fantastic. In a way it was wrecked my head, but it was pretty fantastic.
And to bounce back on that a call to arms video, was that speech that Father Josiah gives, was that something that you also kind of sat down and wrote it out and practiced it, or was that, off the cuff?
Oh yeah, it was right after. I'm trying to think of the time span. It was at least a week or two after Father Joseph had died, and I saw the Departed entry, and you can't. It's meta.
Yeah.
But whenever I got in game, and I've been thinking about it the night before, I was like, oh, who's going to be the first person to tell me that he's died, and how am I going to react?
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that, and then after that first encounter, I can't remember who exactly told me, but after that first encounter, that's whenever I actually sat down and created like an outline. All right, well, I got to get this, I got to get this, I got to get that, and then I found. My little research Bible that I used, and pulling pieces of scripture out.
Nice. That's great to have, like, physical notes. Is it like a physical thing,
yeah.
or a computer Bible?
Yeah, it's the Bible itself is on my phone, but I actually have a notebook that's from both this server and the previous server that I played Father Josiah on, that is just filled with either sermons I've written or pieces of scripture that I've taken out, quotes. It's pretty full.
That's fantastic. That's really great. Like, there's just the dedication and the proper attention to actually being the person that you say you're going to be. You know what I mean? It's just. That's what we need. That's what we need.
Yeah, we need. That's what. Yeah, because I'll speak on that event later that we had, but we needed about 40 Father Josiah type of role players.
Yeah.
It would have been magic.
The quality through the roof.
Yeah, I did want to ask you though, like, how do you feel about that when you go and see something on Departed, and like journals and stuff? I mean, because like you said, it is meta, and it kind of subconsciously, you can't take it out of your head once you see it,
Yeah.
So how do you feel about kind of, I guess I want to say, the Discord channels that kind of reveal who died that you wouldn't have found out about in game yet? I mean, is that kind of like a love-hate thing, or where do you stand there?
In a way, I think, probably my most controversial opinion is the characters channel, like getting to, write out a biography for your character. I think that kind of spoils it more than the Departed channel or the Deaths channel, because it tells you immediately, like, oh, if I meet somebody and I look at their gamer tag, now I can remember that. I can just meta and go and look at their character sheet that they wrote out in their biography. And that's, I mean, I used to do that before I realized, oh, wow, I'm doing a lot more harm to myself than I am anybody else.
I have it muted now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, although journals, I think is fantastic. I love writing up journals. I think I have a Google document filled with all of Father Josiah's journals, and I think I've got like 15, 16 entries from the last server and this one combined.
No way.
Oh yeah, I've seen those on your. I don't know if you want me to plug that here, but I will if you want. If that's okay.
I don't mind.
So you got the Discord, the Grand Railroad Station.
Yeah, Grand Central. It's kind of like an archive for all the things I've done and for all the people I know and met.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool that you've kept a record of that and put it in. That's a good idea. Something that we should probably. I think most of us should probably do that just to be able to look back on
Notes
events
and
and
yeah,
everything.
notes and records are really really helpful. Like and plus as well because you forget things. Like I go back and I read through Cat's journals from the start, and it's like it's very nostalgic, and you know it helps you to think about like things you might do differently next time, or you know things you could have done better and stuff like that. It's just like constant reflection and self improvement. It's a good idea.
Mhm.
Can I ask you how close your character Josiah was to Father Joseph? Because I think I heard you on the radio one time, planning a meetup. Did you meet in game much? Like, were you friends?
Yeah, we did. I wish we could have been closer.
Hmm.
And on a side note, I wish I knew that there was already a pastor with the name that started with a J. I probably would have altered my own name a little bit.
No, that was
Yeah.
fine. That's not a big deal. No, God, no.
But yeah, we met up. We actually planned on, yeah, we're both dead. The season's over. We planned on forming like almost like a guild, like a brotherhood that we called Hope, uh, for any other pastor characters or preachers or ministers that came into the server, and if we heard about them, well, we'd call them in and it was like, hey, we're the only bastions of hope and faith left, and this godforsaken province.
Yeah,
We'll bring you into the fold and we'll preach the good word.
that's
That would have been
fantastic.
different.
It would
Yeah,
have been
that would have
different.
been some interesting. You would have got so many interesting encounters out of that. I mean,
Hmm.
that's like
Absolutely.
100 videos. Great
Cat
shit
for
right there.
Cat would have been all over that. She would have definitely tried to get in there, preaching the word of El Gato.
Oh Lord.
Oh, just
So was
oh man, sorry, just
was
nostalgic.
was sorry. What was Father Josiah your first let's say attempt at taking a character into Daisy and acting them out? Or because I know you've had other characters, but when I first met you, I want to say it was I don't know maybe a year ago.
Roundabout.
Uh, you were Father Josiah then when I met you, and I know you've done a few other characters after that I think were the Englishmen. It was just I don't I didn't spend a lot of time with them, but if you closed your eyes and you couldn't see the gamer tag, the accent was so different that's when I knew this guy is you know
He's on
he's
it.
putting some effort in here, yeah.
Yeah.
But was Father Josiah your first attempt at a roleplay character in DayZ, or have you had was there something else, or and what others have you had, or would that be giving anything away into maybe any other characters you introduce? And we let
Oh
them
no,
in.
I think I can name off a few of the other ones I've played before. But yeah, in truth, Father Josiah was my first real serious attempt at a character, and there were a few stumbles right there at the start. I didn't really know what I wanted him to be. Uh, Originally, in the original place where I played him, I wanted him to be an evil, cannibalistic priest that kind
Nice.
of like hid under like a veneer of good faith, but then you get a little bit closer and he invites you in for Sunday dinner and
Nice.
but eventually like people would rock up to like the compound I had at the Electro Church up on the hill, and it the experiences I got just giving out food to people, offering them shelter and water, I think that fostered the experience a whole lot. Oh, and there's entirely other story that kind of changed the directions, something I really screwed up on. Uh, it
Oh,
was pretty. I'll if you'll let me ramble, could I
go
tell it?
ahead. Spill the beans.
So on the original server that I played Father Josiah on, I still hadn't decided that he was going to be a good priest yet, and so I had a box of human meat buried out back of the church. And so at the time, I also had a guy that was living at the church helping me build it. Um, he was kind of an oddball type guy, but he was really nice. He helped build, and whenever I wasn't around, he would give food to people that would come by asking for me, or he would help anybody that came by. Basically, anything I told him to do, he would do. Well, the bad part is eventually I wanted to, start filtering in the human meat into the into the food supply.
Yeah.
And so I unburied the chest and I took out the fat that came from whatever body I had cut up, and I put it into the food stores that we had. And then he gave that fat to somebody, and then that somebody ate it eventually. And well, apparently he was part of a much larger group, and they executed him for it.
Ooh.
And then, but
Damn.
before they executed him, they asked him, "Where'd you get it from?" And so there was a group of about 5 guys that rocked up to the church one day. It was just me and his name was Ace. It was me and Ace hanging out there. We were talking, and we knew this group as well. We were on friendly terms with them, and so it was like, "Oh, all right, well, hey, come on in. We'll feed you. We'll give you a roof over your head." And as soon as we opened the door, I got a shotgun pointed in my face.
Oh.
And at that moment, I was like, "Oh no!"
This is it.
And so I'm led back up against the wall, and then they approach my Ace. They approach Ace, and they tell him to stop whatever he's doing and to get on the floor. Well, he doesn't stop what he's doing. He doesn't get on the floor, so he gets shot
Oh,
right in front of
fuck.
me.
Oh, fuck.
And so they're sitting there, they're yelling at his body, they're mag dumping it. They're like, "You son of a..." Can I swear here?
Yeah.
They're saying, "You son of a bitch, you God, you stupid asshole." They're sitting there just mag dumping him. And then I'm sitting there and, I have to act all shocked. And, because at the time I didn't know what they were doing it for. And then the guy that had the gun away, that had the gun pointed at my head, he eventually took it away and kind of like dropped it down to his side. And then that's whenever I like turned around and did the vomit emote to really get into it. And then
Nice.
that's whenever they told me, "Look, one of our guys, they ate a piece of meat that came from here. It made them real sick. We come back here, we don't want to see it happening again. You don't leave for 3 days. We'll know if you do."
Oh.
And then they left.
So that kind of shut down your, I want to say, evil, secret evil.
Yeah. It was at that moment where I realized that, oh, well, this is more than likely how this story will end. And I don't know if that's how I want
Yeah.
that story to end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you
Yeah.
got a lot of juice. You can get a lot of mileage out of Father Josiah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
such a
True.
it's such a damn shame. And we were talking about this the other day. I just wish you would have stayed back on that battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I know. But there was one line in the speech that I wrote in there that said, "I'm not asking you to do anything that I wouldn't."
Yeah.
And I felt that I really needed to live up to that. And I felt that it's like I'm a big fan of history. Mr. Danger Boom knows that. One of the most famous things that Napoleon would do whenever he was still a young colonel or general is that he would actually go out on the front lines and position artillery himself. And that would be a massive morale boost for his men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
See him there.
that's kind of the idea that I had. I'm not saying that Father Josiah was Napoleon, for God's sake, but
Yeah.
but getting kitted up and walking out with those guys, and it's a pretty great experience until I got blew up by a grenade.
Well,
Yep.
it's probably why so many people died, just because you were out in the front. They're like, well, we're following this dude.
Hmm.
Even if, there's bullets flying by him.
That's
Just
a
because.
slightly cruel way to put it. I was going to say it was valiant. It's a valiant end for such a great
Well, no, you see
character.
this guy, he hypes you up, and then you
Yeah.
see, I guess I could see it if I was there.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's out there on the front line. Hell yeah, you're going to be right there beside him, so that's probably why a lot of people
Oh, that's painful.
got killed.
But I mean, a lesson can be learned there. All right, to be fair, like I mean, to quote something that a lot of people were saying about the storming on Devil's Castle was like It was an angry mob with pitchforks going up against a medieval castle that was very well defended. You know what I mean? It was sort of like that's to boil it down into the most basic components and being mean about it as well. Like the people were angry. Like I mean, at the time, I don't know. Do you guys both know the actual story of Father Joseph and what happened with him?
Well, I seen the video from I think it was DS that posted it.
Yeah.
They didn't kill him; he just walked off.
Yeah,
Well, he
yeah,
shot himself right in front of the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Devil's
yeah.
Castle, which I'm against. I'm against in-game suicide. I just think it's stupid. I don't care
Mm,
if you like that or hate it. I'm just against it.
fair enough.
Give
Like,
your yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. You've said it before, like play it out, and I do understand that completely. I kind of think that in particular was a good tactical suicide, if that makes any sense. Because it like we had a problem, we had to sort it out. You know what I mean? And to get people riled up, to have somebody who was so sort of well known and well liked across the map to quote unquote die from the cannibals was sort of like the kindling of the fire, and then the real spark that got it all going was when they kidnapped Tom, who was like the whole economy in the heart of Chernarus at the time, because he was the main trader, the only person who was like reliably there, who could definitely give you what you asked for. You know what I mean? So like there was like the spark and the kindling. I kind of think it worked in a story sense. Like that particular suicide was I'm not necessarily against it. I think it's brilliant,
Mm.
actually. I think it was sort of a stroke of genius.
Well,
Um,
what? While you're here, though, I mean, how do you feel about that, Coulter?
mm,
Like in-game suicides in a role play?
I know I've definitely considered it on multiple occasions, but it wasn't for any particular reason. And I think that plays into my opinion on this. Is that well, whenever I got bored, I thought, well, I could just kill myself and start a new character. And I
mm,
think that's what a lot of people think, and that's probably the majority of suicides that do take place. And I'm
Uh,
totally against that.
well,
mm,
I would say that if you're going to commit suicide, I agree that it should be played out, and it should have a good reason at least.
mm.
It shouldn't be just because, oh,
I'm bored.
nobody's
Yeah.
come see me for a few days.
yeah.
That's
Mm,
unfortunate.
yeah, yeah.
That's what it is too.
Mm,
It is. There's,
I feel like,
but yeah, there's other ways you could give your, like I was saying before, you could be a dick to somebody and give them the win, so to speak,
mm.
and kill your character.
hmm
Gives them a little bit of juice. I don't know.
I still
whenever
kind
I
of.
was,
Oh,
whenever I was listening to the podcast last week, I enjoyed it. By the way, I loved it.
Oh, nice.
nice.
But I was listening in, and it said, like whenever you mentioned like giving the win to somebody else, I kind of got it in my sick head that you meant before you said what you said. I thought you meant kill yourself in front of the other person.
Oh,
Oh yeah. No,
no.
no, no. That
And
That's
I
even
mean, I
worse.
think that could work. I think that could work too, in a way. But again, you got to play it out.
yeah.
I feel you on the play it out scale. There is a place for that kind of tactical suicide. Like, I mean, I can imagine that, like, Father Joseph, like, he really believed that he could really fix these guys, and he really wanted to go there, and he really wanted to make a difference. And then there's just complete lack of any sort of empathy for his position kind of drove him to it. I can see that, and that makes sense in a story sense. But
Oh yeah. I'm not knocking the guy. I'm just saying.
no, no. I'm just sort of just as a like
Yeah.
just to like trying to imagine it on a like a grander scale of different storylines and stuff. That there is, I kind of do feel like there is a place for suicides, and it would be incredibly difficult to write rules and or to create moderation around
Yeah,
like
it'd be
suicide.
impossible.
Yeah, that's it's very very difficult.
I'm
Like
just saying,
the
and
wording would
I'll
have
leave
to
it
be
alone
perfect.
because I want to focus. So I just want to Culture's opinion on that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so easy to get people to kill you in this game
True.
that just consider it. If
Yeah.
you get bored with your character and you're gonna say fuck it, just consider it.
I agree
But
with you on there.
yeah, I did want to ask you, Coulter. How did you feel about being, that something that you put a lot of effort into, that you worked for and made a video out of, actually ended up being the clear-cut winner for the
I was
RP scene competition. I mean, did it give you? I'm not trying to sound cheesy, but for real, did it give you any kind of sense of like accomplishment or?
it it kind of did, because I posted it to my YouTube channel that it's what I use personally. I posted it unlisted, so only those with links can watch it. I didn't post it. I posted it initially just for people that weren't able to be there, because I knew. I mean, I was only able to be there at my own speech because Jake Lewis, he gifted me priority queue whenever he bought his own that night.
Whoa, what a boss!
Yeah,
Sorry.
I shouted him out in the description of that video.
Ah,
Like
cool.
a huge thank you to him. But I was, yeah, I got some sense of accomplishment from that. I didn't expect it to win. I can put it that way. I mean,
Really?
yeah, I voted for yours, Mr. Danger Boom. I didn't vote for myself. I mean, your video,
That was a
the
sympathy vote.
no, it wasn't.
I'm just trying to work you up so you can blow some smoke up my ass. I got my cheeks spread ready now. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, well, be prepared. I got I don't know what it's called, the blacksmith, the bellows. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Don't do it to me.
No, seriously, the video you posted, I watched it, and like the tension that was like all throughout it. Like, I forget what music you had that was like kind of underneath it, like in the background, but that was like just the cherry on top. Like throughout the whole video, whenever just I was on edge all the way up until it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
That's intense.
I mean, honestly, I think that's I'll be honest, I'm not, as much as I said, I'm taking bellows and I'm blowing smoke up your ass.
He's inflated enough as it is, trust me.
I'm letting it flow right up there.
But I honestly think all the effort that you put into your video and all the editing you've done and all the writing that you've done and just the pure amount of effort you put into Detective Hardy and all that he's done, I think that deserved it more than me just, I mean, I didn't even edit the video that I posted except for a little bit of trimming down on it. And a little bit of audio editing. And it was essentially just a video of me talking. That's all it was. Whereas yours was not only you talking, but the story of Detective Hardy and the people around him and the people looking for Ellie, and I just thought that was fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah,
Now,
no, I agree. I mean, you should just go ahead and give me your prize you won.
he's going to be riding
You
on
know-
that for a week.
I gotta adjust my headphones. My head just got a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
No,
They
that
say
means a
that one
lot.
size fits all, but like,
Seriously, sorry, Wyla. Sincerely, honestly, that means so much coming from you. That's like, I don't want to say your hero coming over and giving you a pat on the back, but I'd say you're up there. I like, to me, that would be like Frankie on PC because I used to love
Oh, I
that guy.
loved him.
Yeah, that'd be like him coming in saying, "Hey, good job, kid."
oh god, he's going to be intolerable now. What have you done?
I spoke the truth. That's what I did.
He's intolerable the
fact.
most of the time.
Thanks, Wyla. Get used to it.
I voted for the wedding because I thought that Henry's speech was just amazing, and I think it deserves
Plus-
more credit than it got. But anyway,
Plus
no
you're
offense
stupid.
to anybody else here, but did you watch the other entrance? Did you watch? Obviously, you watched Mr. Danger Booms. Did you watch the wedding as well, Coulter?
Yeah, I thought the wedding was beautiful, but if I could vote twice, even though it would be voter fraud, I would. Because
Yeah.
honestly, I mean, those three choices that it got narrowed down to, I thought that, well, besides my own, I thought that those two were phenomenal. Like, just, I don't want to call them works of art, but great acting pieces, put it that way.
That's
And
alright. Yeah.
it really just came down to, well, what's one that I at least know part of the story of, and I've got this connection with Mr. Danger Boom, and
Oh,
that's true.
yours was the best quality though, to be fair. Like, and you deserve it
Yeah,
for the amount
yeah,
of
you
effort
can't
that you
beat
put
that.
in. Keeping notes,
Yeah, that
knowing
was.
your scripture, and actually like having the balls to go all out and actually like, put your passion into it and, rile up nigh on 50 people to go and storm a fucking castle. To like most of them kind of knew that they were going to die, and the aftermath was fantastic. That is something that I wish you could have come back, even as a different character, to see, because you've no idea the impact. Like, I was hanging around at the Oasis, like, Catalina didn't go because she was a coward, but she did see the aftermath, and like, people were shook up. Everybody had lost somebody. You know what I mean? It was the talk of the whole map. Like,
Yeah,
it was
it was like a
absolutely insane.
it was like a season finale on a good TV show. That's kind
Yeah.
of how it felt. Felt like.
Everything after, yeah, everything after kind of felt like, the just the dregs nearly, like, and for me, that's a real bad, that's bad to say, but like, it kind of was like it popped all the tension, you know what I mean? And everybody afterwards was kind of like, what do we do now? Like, we feel
Like
like
the
they're
epilogue.
unbeatable. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, like the sad trail off, like, it was crazy because that's not something you get in TV, like, you know what I mean? There would have
Yeah,
been like a clear cut ending there, but there wasn't, and people had to cope with the loss, and like try and come up with different plans and stuff. Like, you should. We're gonna get Henry. This is not my idea. We're gonna get him on here. You should listen to that one as well, because that'll be an awful lot of like what happened after the whole Devil's Castle raid, because he had a lot to do with like the Northern Alliance and a lot of like trying to pick up the pieces as best as he could. He was the only, he was the driving, not the only, because Tom was there as well, but they were like kind of a team effort. Let's put it that way. I don't know how much Henry
the
wants me to
aftermath
say.
of that.
Yeah, but they were like all trying to kind of pick up the pieces of like the destruction of the Devil's Castle raid. So that'll be interesting to hear. But for yourself, how did you feel after the whole event? Like, what kind of impact did it have on you?
Well, let's just say that I rocked up to Devil's Castle with everyone, fully expecting to die.
Hmm.
I fully expected myself, and if I could be a martyr for the cause, then I would gladly do it. The issue came from how I died.
Mm.
We were stacked up on the corner that was leading right into the main gateway to the castle, and they were throwing grenades to try and get the castle wall down, or the gate down.
Mm.
And, well, there was one misplaced grenade that took out apparently like 5 of us.
Yep.
And I just looked at the "You are dead" screen for probably about 10
Oh.
minutes. I had to stand up and take a walk around the room.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that I was angry. I was more or less disappointed that I couldn't go any further.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that I couldn't, that I was taken out by friendly fire rather than
Yeah.
anything the cannibals threw at us. That was the most disappointing part for me, but no anger.
Yeah, right.
But
You were salty as all hell, like we all would
ah,
have been.
fuck this place. Goddamn
We're all
assholes
getting
can't
salty
throw a
to die,
grenade.
bro.
Father just dying. You gotta throw a grenade at it.
oh, but like
Yeah.
I do kind of know what you guys are talking about with the aftermath, because I read a lot of the journals afterwards for a couple of days to like a week. I hovered like a hawk over the journals channel. I remember specifically it was Buck 32 who was
Ooh,
Andrew of Electro
Andrew.
PD.
Yeah.
His journal entry really shook me up because he was actually the first person to meet me on the server.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as Father Josiah, he was the first person I met. I think I spawned up near story so boring. I walked all the way down south, and on one of the roads leading into Electro, he said, "Hey, buddy, where are you heading to?" And I said, "Oh, no place in particular." He says, "Oh, well, you need a ride?" It's like, "Yeah, sure." And I hopped in his car, and that's where everything started.
Wow.
And
What was
just
his journal
reading,
entry like?
it was mainly, I couldn't tell if he was angry or not, but I remember in particular it was like, well, why did he have to go up there himself? Why was he there? He didn't need to be. It was along those lines.
Yeah, I think
Ow.
that's how a lot of people felt.
Yeah, we didn't want to lose you. Even Kat didn't want to lose you, man.
Like
Like,
I said, yeah, there was a lot of mileage on there, but at the end of the day, it made for, like I said, it was like one of them great shows with a badass season finale where you definitely didn't see that coming, and you're like, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
major
That's
character
true.
death.
yeah, yeah. Game of Thrones shit going on here. When it was good. When it was good.
Oh, it was like adding on to the Game of Thrones, kind of backpedaling a little bit. There actually was some planning that did go into the raid beforehand, but there was like one wrench that got thrown in the machine that kind of screwed it all up, and we kind of had to go as the angry mob.
All right.
What happened is like a few days beforehand, like I had made the posters and said, "Hey, everybody, meet up here at this time. I'm going to be giving a sermon." And I made those posters, and then I got approached by the nomads.
Oh dear.
Oh no, it was actually, this is where the wrench got thrown into it. They said, "Hey, we fully support the cause. We want to come help you. But if we allow anybody to come and do this, it's going to turn into an angry mob and a bunch of people are going to get killed." And so I sat down and talked to, I forget who the leader's name was, but I sat down and talked to him forever. And we were working out, all right, well, how many guys can get on this day? How many guys can, rally this day? Trying to work out how everything was going to happen. And then everything went down with the McCarthys and the Nomads
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
the McCarthys gathered at their pub and they were getting ready to go to Vybor to take them out. And that's, like I was even there whenever they were rallying to go up there. I was like, hey, look, how about we like take a step back and re-examine everything. We gotta.
Yeah. Borscht was on that
And,
as well, yeah. And yeah, it was
and
go.
I'm
Go, go.
not saying that they would have had any impact on it, but in the sake of full clarity, they did have a plan.
Mm,
Yeah. So that was the wrench there, and that was so out of left field when it did happen at the time. I was thinking, like in character, I didn't even understand that.
to be fair, if anybody had a reason to have a grudge against the Nomads, it was Hardy, and you weren't there. You
I
were.
wasn't even be. I know. I was thinking, wait a minute, did I get drunk? Did I get blackout drunk and like?
Yeah, you showed up late. I remember seeing you after they already left. I was still hanging around with Boris sitting on top of that little food vendor, and you like showed up and was like, "Hey, where is everybody?" Oh, they already left.
Yeah. No.
You're like, oh yeah, they're attacking whiteboards. What? Why?
Yeah. It was out of
The
left
Hardy
field.
must have got blacked out drunk and like encouraged everybody to go attack him. I just didn't see.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
I didn't see a good in character reason. I think honestly it came down to loot play.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I mean, there
To be
was a
frank.
lot of oh, not to name any names, but there was a lot of people who wouldn't take kindly to the Nomads turning up in Cherno, and like, did they threaten you? They were kind of threatening. They were sort of acting like they kind of like had a right to be there, and throwing their weight around a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it was a little tense, and that's the one that's in the video. But
Yeah.
after that, everybody was cool. So, like I said, it was out of left field. But
It was a bit, yeah.
yeah. How do you how do you feel about the new season that just launched today, Colton?
And I know that I've been kind of absent. I haven't played much since my death, and that was kind of in part for a multitude of reasons. One of them was I actually had another character typed out, and I was getting ready to play. But then they announced the new season, and I realized, oh, well, what's the point? I figured the new season would be like 2 or 3 weeks away. I was like, oh, well, I'm not gonna write up an entire character and only play him for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I said, all right, well, I'm just gonna wait. And then August ticked by, and then September ticked by.
Where is our mid-October meme, guys?
But the new season seems pretty interesting, especially the prologue bit. That seems really, like, I was reading all the journals and all the things that were getting put up. You know, it's a pretty original idea. I know I've seen a few guys talk about it before, talked about, oh, what if we did before the apocalypse type roleplay, whether it's the Cherno-Russian Civil War or whether it's just civilian RP before everything kicks off. But you know, this is the first time I've ever seen it implemented, and I think it was done pretty well from what I've seen. Well, besides the video I seen from Danger Boom, where they were making noises outside the PD. But
yeah.
Other than that, it looked pretty all right.
I tell you, I could have done with a priest. I was looking for one for ages. I was like, fuck this. I need a priest. The less said about that, the better. But that's still ongoing. But I was looking for one. But no,
it was special.
It was special. It was special. And to be fair, there was an awful lot of stuff that happened that probably would have happened if a bunch of Americans flooded into an Eastern European country just before the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, it was ridiculous. Like, it was a sight to be seen. Like at a lot of stages, and the police did their very best to do a good job. And it did show. Like, I mean, this is the thing. Like, in a real police force, you're going to have people who are in it for the love of the job, who really want to do good in the world, and you're going to have people who are in it for the power play. You know what I mean? So it was, like, interesting to see, like, the different characters, the police officers and stuff. And the civilians then as well, you know. I mean, to be fair, we could have done with more Cherno-Russian civilians. Could have done with more natives. But the way it played out, and especially the very ending, I don't know, like, have you seen many of the videos of, I don't know if there's many videos of the evacuation out yet. I have to catch up on the media channels and the promotion channels. I haven't seen, but the evacuation, I know Boom and I have sort of differing opinions on how that went, but the police operation, the police and military operation was pretty tight. No matter how the civilians, like, behaved, or you know, what happened in the different groups or what have you. I'm being very careful here.
Watch
but
it. Nice.
The evacuation was very well done. The searching, the bringing people up, the splitting us up, the researching, the name taking, and then the eventual, which Boom actually missed because he had to go to work, which is very unfortunate, but the actual evacuation itself was done really well as well. So I can't wait to see more of the content about that.
Yeah, it was very good on the military side and mod side.
Mm-hmm.
But what is there anything? I don't want to kind of show your hand here because, like you said earlier, with the character information, do you have something planned out though for this season for a new character?
I do.
Excellent.
And how comfortable do you feel talking about that? Because if you don't want to, I completely understand that.
Don't do
Oh no, I feel pretty comfortable. Well, I feel comfortable with what I've written so far.
Mm-hmm.
I planned. I was actually late getting home yesterday, and I planned on going ahead and starting the character up and throwing him into the prologue as early as possible, and seeing what I could do. But then I realized, oh, not everybody's going to survive from this prologue.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, I could either roll the dice or go ahead and wait. So I waited because I was already home late, and I'm thinking maybe tonight or tomorrow. I think I'll be in.
Nice, nice.
Nice.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to ask you about the character, but
Don't
I
do
don't
it,
really
man.
want to. I want to know, but I don't want to ruin the
We all want
magic
to know. But
of meeting that character in game.
yeah, yeah.
The only thing I'll say is, and it's one thing I'm probably gonna stand by, is I don't like playing the same character twice in a row.
Mm.
Like I know Danger Boom knows I've played a priest, a doctor, and then I kind of broke that rule because I played like a drunk doctor, but it only kind of half counts because he was a veterinarian.
Okay.
Do
No,
you
that's
role
not
play
a
in that?
repeat. That's good.
I always thought you were just fucking blasted.
No, okay, I have a story I have to tell you. So, well, very few people know about this, except for the people who were there that night. But on the last server I played on, there was one guy that was like the designated traitor, kind of like Tom. And I rolled up to the place one day, expecting to trade, and then I was able to contact him over the radio, and he said, "Oh, well, I'm not going to be back for like another hour or so. You can stand by and kind of wait there, but you might be waiting a minute." So I did, and in that time I had a drink, and then another one, and then another one, and then a few more after that, until the point to where they arrived, and I was absolutely shit-faced. I kind of half blurted out what I was looking for. They brought it to me and said that I could pay them tomorrow. And then they threw me in a Sarka and drove me back to my base.
Just to get you out of there.
I remember I was in the Sarka. Just so fucked up. I was like, man, he's either the best.
No, I was
fucking
that night. I actually was. I actually was.
Nice.
Like as the veterinarian, no, that was played up. But that night in the Sarka, waiting for him to come back to his place, I was shit-faced.
Brilliant.
And that's one thing. Hey, do you agree with this? DayZ is a good drinking game.
It
Oh,
is.
hell yeah. I'm drinking right now. Oh, it has so much potential. It's just so open, you know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things where it's just like being given raw materials and then you do what you want with it, you know what I mean? Whether it's official or community or RP or anything, you are in charge of how the game goes, like, and it's a really freeing feeling, I think. And I love the bare bones aspect of it. Like people are like, ah, it's so old, ah, it's glitchy, ah, blah 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 blah, but it's a gem of a game. It's so difficult, and it's like there's nothing that gets your adrenaline pumping quite as much as DayZ. I feel like I haven't played anything that even comes close. I don't know how you guys feel.
Choose your own adventure, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, completely, completely. Europe, it's like there's no guidelines. There's no like real overarching enemies. There's zombies, but like, and I'm glad that they're tougher now. But at the same time, like it is up to you what you do, how you enjoy it, and what happens, and that's like it just gives a lot of creative license and opportunities to really enjoy your own imagination and what you can do with it, which I think ColterWall are a perfect example of that as well, and a shining light for us all to follow into the new iteration.
I wish. I wish there. I would, like I said, I wish at least. I'm not. Server is awesome, best RP server, but I wish everybody took it seriously, because you did, because then you would have magic.
Yeah.
It would. It's like your video. You said you barely edited it, because you didn't need to.
No,
You just had magic there, but
Yeah.
it would be so easy to get magical videos and content if everybody just actually took their character seriously.
Yeah.
And that's not a knock on anybody, but if they did as good as you did. We'd be in the perfect world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you imagine? Because, like, there's just, yeah, you're dead right. There's so much opportunity there, and people have it squandered because they just want to kill or, want to act the big man.
Yeah. I'm I'm free of restraint here. You two are the hosts. I'm a free individual, so I'm going to state my opinion.
You go for it.
But I think that one of the worst things that you can do to yourself in RP is probably set yourself up as Mr. Cool Sniper Boy, 82, ex-military, Navy SEAL all around. I can kill 500 men with my bare hands
Yeah.
type of character.
Yeah.
And I think that there, and I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head, but there are definitely those kind of guys out there. That they need to realize that the best RP that you're going to get out of this and the best that you can do for yourself, because, I mean, making a character like that, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because you're, like, restraining yourself to, like, this emotionless killing machine rather than being, whether that be, like, a conflicted priest or a hardened detective or...
a cannibal cat lady.
I was going to say a lady that worshipped cats.
Oh, thank you for including me. I feel like I've joined an exclusive group now.
But seriously, there has to be some kind of diverse characters out there other than just, I'm ex-military, my wife and children are dead, I'm ready to kill.
You're giving yourself a lot to live up to as well. Without naming any names, I did know of a Marine who had a canteen and the chlorine tabs on him in an area with water who died of thirst. So, I don't even know his name. I actually don't. I just know this story by proxy from other people who told me. But, like, he got taken the complete and utter piss out. So, if you're going to play a military character, you gotta be a fucking real life badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't give yourself so much to live up to, or you're gonna look like a fool.
Yeah, it is restricting. I agree. It shuts down a lot of creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. Just be a librarian.
I know there was one guy I told because he wanted some advice on how to make a character, and I said, well, if you're going to make a military character or an ex-military character, don't make it to where the military is the main focus. I mean, you can still be ex-military or military, but make it to where you are, like there's a guy, the map that he was playing on was Deer Isle, and I said, over on PC, I said, okay, well, you're a lobsterman. You're a lobster fisherman who happens to be ex-military. You're not an ex-military person that happens to be a lobster fisher.
That's a good point.
Just mix it up some way. There's 10 tons of bloody military guys out there. They're all... Every time I read it, I'm like, oh, here we go. Here's another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the best heroes in movies and video games is like the average Joe that gets put in an incredible situation.
Yeah. Something that I was telling my friends is like, because my friends tried to join and they couldn't kind of get into it. And I was trying to say, like, don't go too far too fast. You know what I mean? Even if you're just yourself in this situation, do that for your first character at least. See how you get on. Maybe, and then people then also recommend maybe don't put too much of yourself into your character because you get too attached. That's another whole discussion. Excuse me. But for the sake of ease, just try and see how you would genuinely get on in this situation. Like, how would you fare? You know what I mean? Would you be able to make friends? Would you be able to join a group? Would you be able to survive even? You know what I mean? Do you know how to use a compass? Do you know how to read a map? All these kinds of things. Like, there's enough. It's difficult enough just being yourself without trying to be like a whole other person that you've never been before, that you've not experienced. Even for your first character, my recommendation would be just to be yourself. Maybe put on an accent. I actually find like when I put on an accent, it makes it easier to lift myself into the world, you know what I mean, and become somebody else for a while, like to the point where I get off DayZ and I'm like reading like memes and stuff in a different accent, like either Catalina's or Amelie's, like, do you know what I mean? It just it makes you click in and focus and act like this is really happening. You don't know you're going to respawn when you die. You don't know that, like, you know, you can fucking just meet up with your friends again. You know what I mean? You have to value your life. And I know all this stuff is kind of basic to you guys, but like, just for advice for anybody listening out there, just like, just try to put yourself in it. I don't know. I haven't been able to explain it to my friends either, and I am a little bit drunk. So if anybody has anything to add to that, please, please go ahead. Oh no, silence.
No, it's important. You gotta value your character.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna say, man, it's so nice, you know, that you were able to come on with us today, Coulter.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't care how many guests we have after this. This is my bias.
No.
Bias. So you're gonna be the favorite, unless we can get breaking on PC or something. That ain't gonna happen.
Please stay on PS4. We need you.
I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, so.
Nice.
There you go.
Lovely.
But yeah, let's wrap this thing up. Coulter, was there anything? I mean, I could talk to you all day. That would be lovely. But is there anything you could, you know, is there anything you wanted to just add to any general out thing or?
Anything to shout out that we could follow along on your content or anything like that?
Not necessarily. I would say, Wyla, I'll make sure to invite you to that server after we're done here.
Thank you.
But I don't know. Just keep your ear to the ground, your eyes peeled. I got a feeling there's going to be some decent-sized stuff coming up.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Especially. Oh god, I did want to ask you. The toxic zones. Are you hyped for that shit?
Oh, absolutely.
And let me get your opinion real quick before we go. How cool do you think it'd be to see characters that are kind of based off of exposure to that toxic? Like, do you think we could get like some dude out there playing the Joker?
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, you get a lot of freedom with radiation. Well, it depends how far they're willing to let characters go. But I think pretty much sky's the limit when it comes to radiation. Because, I mean, other than, you know, if you've ever seen the Chernobyl series, it's either you get red in the face, you lose all your hair, you know, you kind of rot away. That's all we know regarding radiation. Other than that, I think sky's the limit, like I said.
And just for my own fantasy file, can you, you know, say, hey, Mr. Danger Boom, this was the greatest conversation I've had in my life. In your Father Josiah voice. And then maybe add a little bit Father Josiah and we'll close it there.
Mr. Danger Boom, I must add, this is one of the best conversations with friends I have ever had, and I am thankful for it. I'm glad that I had the privilege to be here tonight, and I hope that many more conversations come between us in the future.
He's unbelievable, isn't he? Oh my god.
Alright, cut.
Praise the Lord.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Let's go.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh man,
Lovely
round of
having you,
applause.
man. Lovely having you.
Oh, it was great being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was great.
Thank you guys for having me.
No bother. We'll see you around, man. We'll see you around.
See you guys around.
Alright, that's a wrap.
No.
I got it recorded on my end.
Yeah, I have mine too.
That's
Here,
pretty
let me-
sweet.
Let me stop my stream
Yeah.
so we can chat. Hold on, give me a second.